Fire pit's nice and hot. Thank you, Jez.
Very hot.
Warming up there.
I should have worn the Speedos.
Yeah. Lucky us. And so we'll roast some veg and then finish it with some chopped herbs and a nice honey olive oily number. Sound good?
Yes,
Right.
amazing.
We'll start with the carrots. Let's get these tops off. Save those for later.
Save those for later, gotcha.
Let's halve these. These are quite fat carrots, so we might even quarter them just to get things moving along a bit
love this
quicker.
on homegrown carrots, that you see the colours inside as well. They're different. It's not all just plain orange.
And
right?
the texture's different as you
Sure.
get
Oh,
closer. Look at how golden and
Yes.
lovely those are. That'll be all right in half, I reckon. Leaving the tops on just because it's a bit more rustic and a bit of drama.
Sure.
When I was at chef school, they told me off for being rustic, but I love it.
Well, you know what we were saying earlier about how people don't like uniform, nice, neat veg anymore.
Yeah.
And that's probably from the Victorian era, right? Oh, this is me, right?
This is you.
Okay, right.
Those can go straight onto that flatbed.
Onto here, okay.
No oil
face
or
down
anything.
or?
Yeah, face down. We're going to turn them
like
around
this.
anyway.
Okay.
So we want those to be nice
Insanely
and
warm.
charred and blackened. And don't worry if they go super dark, because that's all flavour and interest, and that looks so beautiful.
Sorry, all my stuff.
So to that we'll chop our courgette and add that as well. This is we'll be familiar with this way of doing things. So we'll slice it just shy of a centimetre thick. And then we'll put that straight onto the griddle.
Is that quite gratifying, growing your own stuff and then...
Knowing that a couple of months ago, 3 months ago, was a tiny little seed in a seed packet is, I mean, magic, and it never gets old.
What do you do with these bits now? Is that part of the unavoidable waste we throw away?
Well, not really, because I could be a bit neater about it. I could leave those and I could just chop that little end, but there's not much going on with that little end. I could have saved. Let's put that bit on there.
Okay, just to prove a point.
Yeah, it's fine. Right, so those can go straight on the griddle so it's got some nice char grills on it.
Gosh, this looks delicious. And again, there's no oil on this either,
There
right?
isn't. If you're doing it on a barbie, then you might want to add a little bit of oil.
Sure.
But we've got such lovely coals here from the open flames and the wood that I sort of don't see a point.
Okay.
Then we'll also add...
I'm going to be sniffling in the background now because the smoke
got
is already...
smoke in your
Well, it's
eyes.
blowing a little bit now, right? The wind, so...
It all adds to the flavour. Let's get these helder beans on. Helder beans are brilliant because they come a bit later than French beans.
Okay.
And straight on, and they'll go all charred and lovely. And
Helder beans.
Helder, yeah. And they're flat, so they fit really nicely on the barbecue. Sure. And then just a few for a bit of flavour, a bit of onion flavour. A few spring onions, which we'll just pop straight on.
These already look like they're discolouring a little bit now,
yeah,
right?
they're doing well, aren't they?
Oh, look at
lovely.
That. And so I'm turning these, I'm interfering a bit.
Yeah,
now,
no, that's
okay?
perfect. Your instinct is spot on. They look so delicious.
So they're charring away nicely.
Now, whilst those are doing, let's chop some herbs and we'll add those, we'll scatter those atop our roast veg.
Herbs are really underused, aren't they, in cooking?
If you grow nothing else, if you've only got a windowsill, grow herbs, because they'll bring down your air miles massively, because herbs are grown quite intensively and quite far away very often, though not always. But also you can use them in every single meal you make. You can't go wrong. So I've got parsley, I've got hyssop that we were talking about before, just the leaves with the hyssop, this is a bit woody, and some sorrel, and some basil, and dill, whatever you happen to have. So definitely grow herbs if you grow nothing else, because you can use them for every single meal. And they don't take much effort. Sure. And also they tend to have, when you buy them from the shop, quite a lot of air miles, food miles, because they're often grown quite intensively and quite a long way away.
Sure. That's madness. Hang on, sorry. So we're buying herbs in that we can grow, and herbs are so easy. They must be the easiest thing to grow, right? They
are easy to grow. You don't have to start them off from seed either. You could just buy a little pot and bring it on, and that tends to be a bit easier to handle.
Are you a fan of buying them from the... Oh no, that would be stupid. I was going to say buying them from the supermarket and planting them, but that's what you're saying, is actually those ones that you buy in the supermarket in pots
are not bred to last.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So here I've got some parsley and some sorrel and some hyssop and some basil and whatever you have to hand that is leafy and light and green and lush. So we don't want rosemary and marjoram and things like that in
so
here.
not woody,
we
right.
want nice green ones.
And you're being quite relaxed about that. So basically anything.
Yeah.
Just chuck anything in that's green.
Absolutely.
You're not matching flavours or anything like that.
No, because once we mix all of this together, it's just going to be a lovely, punchy, I can smell it already as I'm chopping.
Sure.
Herby kick.
Looks amazing.
To top, and it'll look beautiful as well, and to add some interest to our roasting veg, barbecuing veg, which are doing beautifully.
It is, yeah. So every side has been...
that is looking really good.
Putting them a little bit closer together to finish them off for the warmth now.
Yes.
But they're still
so
quite
they're
crisp,
nicely
yes?
charred. Are
They're
they still quite crisp
They're just
inside?
starting to get soft in the middle.
Lovely. And that's what's lovely about cooking veg on a barbecue, is that you don't lose all the texture as well. You get lots of the browning and the flavouring and the caramelisation, but you don't lose the crunch and the crisp inside.
Sure.
I've left Jez tending the barbecue and come back into the garden to get some garnish to go on top of our roast vegetables. And nasturtiums are my go-to topping to make any dish look beautiful. The leaves are peppery and edible, and they look gorgeous. And the same is true of the leaves of the flowers, the petals, which are very pokey but really beautiful and a lovely addition to pretty much any plate. Perfect. How's it going?
Right, very good. What are you eating?
No. Those look perfect.
I knew I shouldn't have let you go off on your own. I'm surprised you found anything in there, frankly. Good. So I've literally just transferred them off of the griddle and off of the grill. So
this is so how I like eating food, just straight off the barbie, ready to go. Doesn't need much doing to it. When you've grown something like this, why would you want to faff about with it too much?
Well, this is like going full circle to what we were saying in the very first video. This is what's really sad about having to put all the effort into that vegetable patch and not get anything out of it. This is what you do it for, right?
This is what you do it for. And I'm just going to scatter a whole load of herbs over the top of it.
I tell you what, this is very
oil.
rustic and sharey. If you've got like some friends round or something.
Yeah. And
so
if you were more organised than we are, you could put some feta crumbled over the top of it.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah,
a bit more lemon juice. But then with all of these dishes, I think you really want to think about the finishing of it and how you're balancing the flavours.
Sure.
There
you go, chef.
Salt on here as well. We could do with some sweetness.
I've got a perfect sweetness for you. Honey.
Brilliant.
Now, what I was going to suggest was, we've got a honey drizzler, but most people, I think, would classically, roasted veg, think about just grabbing a clear runny honey,
like that's what I would do.
Summer honey,
Yeah.
drizzling it over the top. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But honey is such an amazingly diverse product. I mean, there are heather honeys and ivy honeys and real woody, tasty honeys. So if you think about like sourdough toast, right? And
yes, please.
mushrooms and some tarragon and garlic and a deep woody honey like ivy honey or a heather honey, it lifts those woody flavours and you get just a tiny bit of sweetness. It's not at all sweet like that. Or, of course, I mean, you might remember before that when we baked before, so baker's honey, something that's sort of a bit set and a bit clear is good for that. Yeah. But for finishing, you definitely want like a runny honey, right?
Good runny one,
Or something that's good with flavour. That's a heather one. So we've got a sweet one here and we've got a heather honey here. So what are you thinking?
Ooh.
We can use whatever you want.
Well, we've already got quite a lot of sweetness in the root veg here.
Yes.
So maybe the heather one on that to help with some of the...
Or, because you sound a little bit hesitant,
you tell me, you're
why
the
don't
expert.
I put a little bit on the side and we can do dipping?
Oh my word.
Now, how does that sound? Totally different consistency.
You've made my
you'll
day.
See. So that
and
can
then
go
maybe
in there.
some drizzling on the courgettes.
Absolutely, that's where I'm going to go. So do you want to drizzle because you're chef?
I'm just going to spoon this straight into my mouth. Is that not how we're meant to do it?
Well, it's how we do it, but normally off camera.
Yeah. Oh, so
And
lovely.
so, as a chef, cooking with honey
Yeah.
and finishing it off. What's the purpose for you? What do you see as honey as an ingredient?
Well, with any dish, you want to balance all the flavours
Sure.
together, and you want to add interest. So if you've got a salty dish, or you want to, or a charred dish in
Yes.
this case, you want to add something else in there as well. So you want some sour, and you want some salt, and you want some sweet, and
Yes.
a bit of everything really makes for an interesting plate. So with some honey, and particularly with some nice fragrant honey like this, you're just going to add some more interest to what is quite a straightforward dish, and I love it because it is so straightforward.
And it looks amazing.
Doesn't it
It is the sort of thing that looks really social, doesn't it? You can imagine people.
And you
dipping
want to
in.
just dig into
Cameraman
it.
is salivating.
Let's dig in. Let's dig in. Not you, John.
So I'm going to go with one of these.
Yeah,
I might
I'm
try a
going
little
with
dip in there.
Which honey was this again?
Oh, Kathy, come on. That's heather. So there is a sweetness, but there's a flavour. It's like a woody, earthy flavour. So you've got the natural earthiness of this, and it's sort of balanced,
And the
complemented
carrots
by.
are very savoury because they're homegrown, so they've got quite high, almost tannin taste to them, rather than that just sweetness. And then the chard of the.
The crunchiness is amazing.
I'm very happy
really
about
amazing. Mmm. That's delicious.
Should we try the courgettes?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's get
Try
in there.
courgettes. So you've got two different types of courgette here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Some yellow ones.
Taste different or not?
Not so much.
Now these look quite charred, which I'm going to take full responsibility for.
But that's good.
That's okay.
Good. Yeah,
Right.
that's why we've got the Barbie lid, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And these have got a little bit of other honey on as well. Look at that.
The sweetness of the herbs.
There's so much flavour, isn't there? From something so simple. I mean,
But if you'd bought this in a shop and you were using Bogo standard honey, it wouldn't taste like this.
right. Well, I can tell you that for sure, because I mean, we wouldn't use supermarket honey, which is of course blended with loads of different honeys. It's normally from far stretches of the world, and it's heated to a really, really high temperature to kill all of the natural stuff in it,
Is that right? God, isn't it?
which is why it tastes just like sickly and sweet and horrible. Are they good too?
Very good.
I'm still on courgettes.
And the fragrance of the honey, the floral notes really help the savouriness of the vegetables.
And you pick nasturtium flowers. You can eat nasturtiums, can't you? So can I take like a leaf and
Yeah,
something? I've never tried
And they'll
that.
add a peppery kick to it all.
Okay. You can't really eat these delicately, can you?
No.
Oh, hello.
Winner.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Okay, so let's just real quick. Let's just really quick talk about this, right? So you don't need something this size.
No.
We got something this size here because we have a lot of people here at one time cooking. But you could do this even not outside, right?
Yeah.
Or you could do it just at home.
On a griddle pan, over a high heat, or even
Yes.
on a frying pan. But a griddle pan is ideal because that way you get these lovely chars
Yes.
lines across it, and you get that charring effect, which
Same
is what makes
principle.
the flavour so much more
So
interesting.
grow your own, cut it all really thin or into chunks, griddle it, and
Yeah.
simple additions of flavours.
Exactly.
Absolutely delicious. It's been lovely having you here.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Can I come back next week?
Well, that's assuming that you're going.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'll need to go home to get some more veg.
Ah, all right then. All right, fine. There's a little wrinkle in my kidnapping plan. Now, if people want to find more recipes like gazpacho and the things that we've had here, we're going to add that.
Let's add those to the show notes,
Cool.
and then I'm at glutsandgluttony.com, so you can find things there too.
Perfect. Listen, we've had a lovely time. Hope you enjoyed watching, and hopefully we're going to do some more, right?
Very definitely.
All right, see you again soon.
Bye.
I'm going to eat all of this.
Oh, very good.